In the early 1980s, Metallica did something that would have made any music executive choke on their cigar. They let fans copy their music for free. No contracts, no gatekeepers, just raw metal and a whole lot of cassette tapes. At the time, it seemed like career suicide. But what looked crazy to the industry turned out to be genius. By treating fans like allies instead of customers, Metallica created a movement. They didn't just survive, they built an empire. This is the story of how Metallica outsmarted the music industry by ignoring its rules. Back in the early 1980s, if you weren't making music that fit the mold, slick pop, glam rock, or radio-friendly ballads, you were invisible. Metallica didn't just break that mold, they set it on fire. Formed in Los Angeles in 1981, Metallica was loud, aggressive, and completely uninterested in playing nice. Instead, they delivered a brutal, fast-paced sound called thrash metal, a genre so fast, so loud, and so anti-mainstream that the industry didn't know what to do with it. James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Dave Mustaine, and Ron McGovney, later replaced by Cliff Burton, didn't have flashy outfits or arena lights. What they did have was an underground anthem called Hit the Lights, a furious blast of guitars and energy that introduced them to the underground metal world. Originally released on the Metal Massacre compilation in 1982, that one track kicked off a chain reaction. Radio stations wouldn't touch them, but fans, they couldn't get enough. Their early shows were played in sweaty clubs and community halls, often to kids just as angry and wired as they were. Metallica didn't wait for industry approval. They got in the van and hit the road. They handed out demos. They played with fire. In a world where the music business had its rules, Metallica rewrote them before they even had a record deal. They weren't on the radio, but they were already being heard. Before the internet, before streaming, before Spotify playlists, there was tape trading, and Metallica owned that underground scene. In 1982, Metallica recorded a demo called No Life Till Leather. It wasn't polished. It wasn't produced in some fancy studio, but it had something better, raw energy, and metalheads couldn't get enough of it. Instead of locking it down, Metallica let it loose. They handed copies to friends, fans, and anyone who would listen. Those cassettes began to travel fast. Fans dubbed copies for their friends. Fanzines listed addresses where you could request a tape. Metallica's music started bouncing across the country and across the ocean, all thanks to a network of passionate headbangers and their boomboxes. And here's the genius part. They didn't stop it. Most bands would have freaked out. You're giving away our music for free? Not Metallica. They knew what they were doing. Every copy traded was another foot soldier in their growing army. Every fan who heard those tapes was a potential ticket buyer, a merch customer, or someone who'd tell 10 more friends. By the time they were ready to release their debut album, Kill 'Em All, in 1983, Metallica already had a solid base of fans waiting for it. They didn't need radio. They didn't need MTV. Their demo tapes had done the job, and then some. Tape trading didn't just help them spread, it created a sense of community. Fans felt like they were part of something, not just listeners, but insiders. The kind of loyalty that money can't buy, and that no label executive could have manufactured in a boardroom. Metallica didn't just play thrash, they harnessed it, and let their fans carry the torch. So, how did some gritty demo tapes and a rejection from mainstream radio turn into a tidal wave of fan loyalty? Simple. Metallica trusted the fans before anyone else did. While the music industry was focused on gatekeeping, tight control over airplay, appearances, and distribution, Metallica took the opposite route. They gave fans the keys and said, go. The result? A self-sustaining underground machine fueled by passion, not PR. Clubs started filling up with kids who knew every lyric even though Metallica hadn't released an official album yet. Fans showed up wearing hand-drawn Metallica logos on denim jackets, bootleg shirts, homemade pins. It wasn't just admiration, it was ownership. This was grassroots before grassroots became a buzzword. Every tape traded was a silent revolution. Every fan became a recruiter. And with no major label shaping their image, Metallica had the rare gift of being real in a business full of fake polish. That authenticity was everything. By the time they signed with Megaforce Records in 1983, the band had already proven themselves in the eyes of the fans. Megaforce founder John Zazula took a gamble on them, not because they were radio darlings, but because they had momentum that couldn't be denied. Then came Ride the Lightning in 1984 and Master of Puppets in 1986. Both albums dropped like bombs, further cementing Metallica's reputation as kings of the underground, even as they climbed higher. And the best part? They did it on their terms. The loyalty they earned in those early years didn't fade. It became the foundation of one of the most successful careers in rock history. Fans didn't just support Metallica, they believed in them because Metallica believed in them first. If you believe in this channel and want to help me grow, please like and subscribe. Let's talk about the music industry. It is obsessed with middlemen, managers, agents, label execs, and publicists, but Metallica said, no thanks. They built their own path and proved you didn't need a polished image or a radio hit to make it big. They didn't start with fancy music videos. In fact, they refused to make one until 1989's One. Instead, they let the live show speak for itself, and those shows were legendary. In 1983, shortly after releasing Kill 'Em All, Metallica kicked off the Kill 'Em All for One tour with Raven, playing small but furious gigs at places like the Keystone in Palo Alto, the Stone in San Francisco, and L'Amour in Brooklyn. These weren't stadiums, they were sweat-soaked clubs with no air conditioning and walls shaking from the amps. At the old Waldorf in San Francisco, fans packed in shoulder to shoulder to witness Cliff Burton's unforgettable bass solo, Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. It became a defining moment in early Metallica shows, and live bootlegs of those performances spread like wildfire. They weren't just building a fan base, they were building a movement. Fans wore Metallica shirts before you could even buy one at a mall. The band sold merch from tables near the stage. Tour flyers were Xeroxed by hand. They even ran their own fan club, the Metallica Club, Met Club, mailing out newsletters with set lists and candid photos. By the time Elektra Records came calling in late 1984, Metallica had leverage. They signed, but only under the condition that they retained full creative control. They weren't a product. They were a phenomenon that labels couldn't manufacture. Then came the year 2000, and Metallica shocked their own fans by declaring war. Not on a rival band or record label, but on Napster, the peer-to-peer file-sharing service that was changing the music world overnight. It all started when a demo of I Disappear, a song written for the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, was leaked onto Napster months before its official release. The band discovered that their entire catalog from Kill Them All to Reload was being traded freely by millions of users. To Metallica, this wasn't just theft, it was loss of control. So they fired back. On April 13th, 2000, drummer Lars Ulrich marched into the Senate Judiciary Committee with a stack of papers listing over 335,000 Napster usernames, people who had downloaded Metallica tracks. The band sued Napster for copyright infringement and demanded their music be taken down immediately. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Fans who once bootlegged Metallica demos with pride now accused the band of selling out. Protesters showed up at Metallica shows, holding signs that read, Napster bad, Metallica greed. Clips of Ulrich's testimony became late-night punchlines, and the band's reputation took a major hit. The irony? Metallica had once embraced tape trading. They'd thrived because fans shared their music for free. But Napster wasn't a cassette passed hand to hand. It was a tidal wave of digital piracy. And while their lawsuit helped bring about Napster's downfall in 2001, it also drew a line in the sand. Metallica was no longer the scrappy underdog. They were the establishment. But even in controversy, they stood their ground. For better or worse, Metallica wasn't afraid to take a hit if it meant protecting their music. And that uncompromising spirit was the same one that built their empire in the first place. By 1986, Metallica had become the biggest underground band in the world, and without a single radio hit. Then came Master of Puppets, and everything changed. Released on March 3rd, 1986, Master of Puppets was a relentless, complex, and ambitious record that clocked in at over 50 minutes with no commercial singles. Yet, it sold over 500,000 copies in its first year and eventually went platinum 6 times. Critics called it a masterpiece. Fans called it a religion. Touring with Ozzy Osbourne that same year introduced them to a broader audience. At one stop in Kansas City, Metallica opened with Battery and left Jaws on the floor. No gimmicks, no radio polish, just power. But tragedy struck hard. On September 27th, 1986, bassist Cliff Burton died in a tour bus crash in Sweden. It could have ended the band. Instead, it hardened their resolve. With Jason Newsted stepping in, Metallica pushed forward and released And Justice for All in 1988, featuring One, their first song to get a music video and major MTV play. The band, once too dangerous for TV, was now dominating it. Then came the Black Album in 1991. With songs like Enter Sandman, The Unforgiven, and Nothing Else Matters, Metallica smashed through every remaining wall. The album debuted at number 1 in 10 countries, eventually selling over 30 million copies worldwide. They were headlining stadiums, selling out Madison Square Garden, Wembley, and Rock in Rio. No top 40 hits, no pop collaborations, just thunderous riffs and unrelenting authenticity. Metallica didn't follow trends. They bulldozed them. And every crazy decision from the early days, the demos, the tape trading, the rejection of industry norms had led them right here. Global domination, their way. Today, Metallica is more than a band. They're a blueprint. What they built in the 80s is exactly what modern artists try to replicate in the streaming era. Direct to fan connection, full creative control, and a brand that outlasts trends. Just look at how they've adapted. In 2013, they became the first band to play on all 7 continents, including a legendary show in Antarctica, dubbed Freeze Them All. In 2022, they launched the Metallica Black Box, an online archive featuring rare videos, photos, and handwritten lyrics, giving fans unprecedented access to their history. They've mastered platforms like YouTube and TikTok, dropping surprise live cuts, behind-the-scenes footage, and even guitar tutorials. Their 2023 release of 72 Seasons was streamed millions of times within days, and they backed it up with a global tour that sold out arenas across 5 continents. And here's the kicker. Their merch empire is unstoppable. From limited edition vinyl box sets to custom Metallica whiskey, Blackened, they've turned loyalty into longevity. Meanwhile, younger artists like Run the Jewels, Nine Inch Nails, and even Taylor Swift have taken cues from Metallica's strategy. Empower the fans, own your masters, and make your art on your terms. Metallica didn't just survive the industry, they beat it by ignoring it. The band that once gave away tapes in parking lots now commands the stage at Lollapalooza, Download Festival, and Power Trip. And they're still not chasing radio. In a world full of algorithms and trends, Metallica remains metal's ultimate outlier. And it all started with a demo and a dream. Metallica wasn't alone in rewriting the rules. Like Dead Kennedys running their own label, or Iron Maiden building a global empire without major US radio play, Metallica thrived by betting on their fans, not the system. They gave away tapes, toured nonstop, and skipped the glam in favor of grit. It looked reckless then, but today, it reads like a master plan. They didn't wait for permission. They made their own lane. In an era when other bands played the game, Metallica, and a few like them, outsmarted it. And decades later, they're still standing tall, louder than ever.